I'm Howie Lim. This is Money Hacks by the Business Times. Employee benefits are now becoming a strong incentive for the workforce to consider when joining a company, especially when the companies consider cost-cutting. In fact, Asia-Pacific firms are rethinking their employee benefit strategies amid rising costs and stiff competition for talent. While it sucks, it may be harder to get a healthy pay bump. Maybe there's something around employee benefits which might help defray the cost of, well, everything. Welcome to Money Hacks, a podcast series by the Business Times, where we explore useful financial tips to help you on your money managing and wealth growing journey. I'm Howie Lim. And helping us out today, Marina Sukhikh, Industry Practice Leader at Aon Global Benefits Asia Pacific, and Lim Chai Leng, General Manager at Randstad Singapore.
Salary and benefits is the second most highly valued in terms of employee value proposition. Of course, everybody wants a better salary and enjoy more benefits. However, there's also non-monetary benefits like good work-life balance that came in highly rated, which is probably something that is beyond monetary, but it is of importance to talents in the market.
Benefits are very, very important is the short answer, but benefits have evolved over time. So if we think about the last 10 years or so, benefits used to be about 5% of the overall package, but now are reaching 30, and in some cases 40 and even 50%. And the reason so, multiple perspectives. First, from the companies. Naturally, with the cost cutting, with the pressure on overall management of the financials, companies are looking for ways to still look after the employees and provide the care and support that they would normally want through alternative means and not just relying on salary. So naturally, benefits is one of those areas that is currently getting a lot of recognition. The second reason the pandemic played a big role here as well, reviewing the duty of care that company wants to offer for the employees as well, not just uses the employees for productivity, but truly sees them as part of the culture and overall working population. So that's why benefits are getting more and more of an investment across all sectors.
Sounds like employee benefits play quite a significant role when negotiating the total remuneration. What though? What types of benefits? Some seem cast in stone, like health insurance and the like. Here's Marina Sukhikh again from Aon.
First, I just want to highlight the benefits that are typically offered. Leave, of course, the compensation itself, maybe hybrid working environment as well. But one area where we see employees are not so equipped to ask questions or negotiate would be insured benefits, which from a company's perspective is really a bulk of the benefit that is being offered to the employees. Life insurance and medical insurance would be the minimal benefits. There are other benefits like dental, maternity, vision, health screening, the list can go on, that are typically seen as nice to have. But I would say at the minimum, in addition to your paid time off, I would inquire about life insurance and medical insurance. How can employees negotiate that, right? Now, benefits are quite interesting because most of the time the company would offer benefits to all of the employees, and it's something that is being offered at the group level, not just for particular individuals, but asking questions about the benefits is very important. So if we're talking about the employees that are looking for a new position or a new role or a new job, then it's definitely a question that is worth raising, asking your hiring managers, asking the recruitment office as well on the benefits that are being offered and whether there is any level of discretion that can be applied to reflect your own achievements or your own position and where you come from. And of course, if you are an existing employee, it's not fair to say that you are just getting the benefits once, right? And then you're stuck with them.
For sure, in terms of salary-wise, there's always a cap on how much employers can offer. But of course, from a compensation perspective, there's always a bonus as well as commission, metrics that they can actually ask during their job interviews or during performance evaluation. Of course, in terms of the non-monetary benefits, we can probably negotiate a little bit more, such as flexi work arrangement, where, maybe staggered hours, may work better for them because of their domestic issues or help that they need. Or maybe from a 5-day work week or 5.5 days work week to a compressed or 5 days or 4 days work week may also be benefits that they can actually inquire with the employer. or even discuss that with a current employer.
Okay, there's the snag. How are we supposed to negotiate when employees or candidates are always told not to ask about benefits and such during the interview process? Here's Lim Chai Leng again from Randstad.
I think first of all, during interview, you should focus on the main job itself. Of course, towards the end, there's always opportunity for talents to ask questions with regards to like the work arrangement, what are the other benefits that can be extended, or maybe just to share a little bit around work arrangement that would be preferred because of maybe young children or because of elderly parents or because of certain commitment that they actually would want to explore the possibilities. But of course, you need to end it off by also sharing that, this is really more from an information perspective and it doesn't affect in terms of the ultimate decision of whether or not he or she is going to take up the job.
Still to come, are there benefits which can be monetized? More with Lim Chai Leng from Randstad and Marina Sukhikh from Aon in a moment.
Aon Singapore is now bigger and better. The same deep dive exploration of socioeconomic and geopolitical issues which impact our lives here in Singapore and the region is now a video podcast. If watching a conversation is your thing, join Claressa Monteiro in monthly conversations about things that matter. Subscribe to the BT Lens On playlist in the podcast tab of the Business Times YouTube channel and start watching today. BT Lens On Singapore, now available in audio and video.
And now, back to Money Hacks from the Business Times.
Welcome back. We're trying to answer the question, are employee benefits the new pay bump? Since globally, the trend is that salaries won't increase as quickly or significantly during these uncertain and expensive times. If they are, how can we go about negotiating for ourselves? Here's Marina Sukhikh from Aon.
Every employee has a voice as well. So most companies run employee surveys. They do gather feedback regularly from the employees to determine whether the level of benefits is reasonable and fair relative to what the rest of the market offers. So it is very, very important that employees participate in those surveys and express their feedback, express their thoughts, because that's the best, the strongest, and the most direct signal to the company that the benefits may need to be reviewed or reconsidered for the future.
Aon also did a study recently where they found that 42% of the employees indicated they would be willing to sacrifice or forego some of the pay for a better choice of benefits. I don't know about that, but it's changing the school of thought across big companies, major multinational organizations. But most companies are looking at benefits separate from pay and are looking to invest further to support the overall culture of well-being. Sounds like there's some wiggle room there. Maybe there are benefits which can be monetized, right? Some of us just prefer cash to deploy as we see fit. Here's Marina again.
Yes. So when it comes to benefits, and I think here it's important to consider different types of benefits because some have a little bit more discretion than other. I think the most important thing from the employee perspective is to ask, right? Because if you never ask, you don't know what you're going to get and you don't really know the flexibility around the benefits. 50% of the employees don't have control of the benefits or don't have the ability to customize or personalize the benefits. That is the reality. But most of the time, that statistic applies to insurance. Again, because the insurance is not something that is purchased for an individual, it is purchased for the whole employee population. So this is where, even from benefit philosophy perspective, companies want to make sure that everybody's experience is similar, it's equal and equitable as well, so that all of the employees are evenly protected. But paid time off, for example, or some performance-based rewards, that's where usually there is a little bit more flexibility. And then the employee can speak to their previous achievements, to their contributions currently and in the past that would help to influence the benefits in their favor in the future.
What about monetization of benefits?
And it's a very hot topic for all of Asia Pacific region because it is the closest way to provide benefits in the form of cash. So most companies are looking into the possibility of offering something that we would call a flexible spending account or allowance, even if it's a cash allowance that would allow employees to spend the benefits where it truly matters for them. So one employee may want to spend it on their children, other employees may want to spend it on their pets, third employees may want to spend it on themselves and their own well-being. So giving that flexibility and allowing employees to get control of the benefits in the form of that monetary assistance is going to be the future of benefits.
That's encouraging. And thanks to COVID-19, the want for flexible work arrangements has really come to the fore, as it should. After all, there are plenty of expenses which pile up these days when one needs to head to the office every day. Commuting costs, childcare expenses, and other personal financial outlays. Here's Lim Chai Leng from Randstad.
We have progressed, and especially last year, MOM has also implemented a guideline around flexi work arrangement, the FWA. So we have actually seen companies following the guidelines and coming up with a policy to offer to their employees. Talent actually appreciate the fact that even if they don't use it, but there is such a policy in place for them to even consider. Or maybe the company is always on a 5-day or 5.5-day. But because of that, you also give them a little bit more of platform for discussion by referencing back to the FWA arrangement. Another thing to note is there's a lot of conversations around going for upskilling and reskilling. So what we have also observed is employers are also granting upskilling leave to allow the employees to take paid leave for training and upskilling themselves. We also do see some employers doing top-ups beyond just the Skill Future funds, maybe because either they have exhausted or the amount of money is quite significant. And I think talent actually appreciate that sort of subsidies for upskilling allowance.
It is still consistently within the top 5 things that employees expect from the companies. The companies need to acknowledge that, and they need to realize that being able to provide hybrid working or some kind of flexibility into the schedule doesn't just come with financial advantages for the employees, but it is a minimum standard requested by the employees for them to even consider a company as a future place of work. And generally, the way we work, the number of times that we show up in the office, the way we interact with our colleagues, all of it is reflective of the overall culture, has a direct impact on engagement. So it is very, very important that companies take it seriously. And even anecdotally, more and more we do see cases where companies lose critical talent and very important talent that is already so hard to get in the current environment of a talent war, where the reason why employees leave the company is because they're not given sufficient flexibility.
Takeaway order Money Hacks 235 is up. Employee benefits are no longer just perks. They're a strategic necessity. With pay raises stagnant, companies are wooing talent with comprehensive packages and flexible work. Employees, in turn, are increasingly willing to trade salary for bespoke benefits, pushing firms to rethink well-being and offer monetized options like flexible spending accounts. A big thank you to Marina Sukhikh, Industry Practice Leader at Aon Global Benefits Asia Pacific, and Lim Chai Leng, General Manager at Randstad Singapore. I'm Howie Lim, and this has been Money Hacks by the Business Times.
This is a podcast by the Business Times. Find more BT podcasts at businesstimes.com.sg/podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. This podcast is meant to provide general information only. SPH Media accepts no liability for loss arising from any reliance on the podcast or use of third parties' products and services. Please consult professional advisors for independent advice.